Fantastic. So, Aurora,
We're live. Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Aurora, and I want to welcome you to today's event, which has been organized by EdTech for Future, and it's called Augment Your K12 Classroom. So the focus of this event will be to speak about the potential of augmented reality in K12 education. And we're going to try and explore the opportunities that can enhance curriculums and with this technology to try and help engage students in learning. So today with us, we have two speakers. We have Kevin Merz, who's an executive director of the Global Education Programs and Innovation Center, and he's from New Jersey. We have Dr. Imre Armstrong, who's the VP of Strategic Development at CleverBooks. So if you guys maybe want to take a minute or two to introduce yourselves, I've just done something really quick, and then everyone here can have an opportunity to know who you are. So
go ahead,
Amy? Would you like to start?
Go ahead, Kevin. You go.
Oh, sorry. Great, thanks. My name's Kevin Merz. I'm at Rutgers Prep, which is a pre-K to 12th grade school in the middle of New Jersey, about 45 minutes south and a little bit west of New York City. And we do a lot of innovation on our campus and look at where we think education is going in the next we look at short term, about 5 to 10 years, and we do have like 50-year projections and stuff that we look at too. So it's always interesting working here.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And Ina?
So my name is Ina, and apart from the title that Aurora you have mentioned, I'm also one of the co-founders of CleverBooks. And as the company, our vision is to facilitate digital transformation in the K12 education sector through a strategic use of augmented reality technology. So I'm here to also share my feedback by speaking to educators worldwide in terms of how they apply augmented reality to education landscape, and also at the same time to hear your point of view, what you would like to learn, and of course learn from Kevin today as well, to see what he has done in this landscape. I know he's doing a lot with innovation.
Okay, thank you very much, guys. So thanks for your introduction. So for everyone who has tuned in today, we will have a Q&A session towards the end of the event, but you are more than welcome to write in the comments about your experience. And if you have any questions, I'll keep an eye, and I can also ask Kevin and Ina as well. If you would like to connect with them as well directly, you can do that via LinkedIn. Maybe you have any further questions. And we would actually like to know where you guys are tuning in from. So let us know where you are and if you've ever had any experience of using augmented reality in your classroom with your students. So you can type out in the comment box. Okay, so we have one person who is really excited for today. And all right, so while we wait for the comments to come through, we'll start off the main discussion. So I would like to give a brief introduction because I'm quite excited to talk to you guys about this application of augmented reality in education, actually, and in specific now in K12 education. But I would like to really start from just having a short reflection on the past year that we've had, past year and a half now, and how COVID-19 has had quite a tremendous impact on education all over the world, and the challenges that have arisen for educators in trying to deliver lessons effectively and engage their students, not only in the classroom, but also remotely. So my first question for you guys is, how did COVID-19 change our educational landscape and the role of EdTech as part of a remote and a hybrid and in-class learning experience? Kevin, would you like to start off?
Yeah, so I think I was just heard a couple of days ago that the U.S. had, and most of the world is about 440 days into when we started closing down. There were definitely countries that closed earlier than we did. I think March the 13th, as I remember, was the last, or that was the first day that we were closed. And so what happened in that time from January through April of 2020 was essentially 1 billion students had to do something different. And their teachers and administrators and everybody else had to get in with the, there had to become some kind of new delivery system beyond the traditional that we were used to. And this disrupted the whole society, because the traditional delivery system was children leaving their home and going to the school. And yeah, there are plenty of families who were homeschooled, and they were probably adapted a little bit faster, but it really did disrupt everything. And because of that, I think we've seen an acceleration in different technologies and adoptions. They talk about it in many aspects of the work world, that there's been about 10 years worth of acceleration in technology adoption and transformation, the work from home environment, and jobs that weren't capable. We really found out who could work from home and who couldn't work from home, and there was a lot of figuring things out, but I think that we've seen this huge growth in all of technology. I saw a stat last week. I think it's over 300 million mobile devices now that are AR capable, and still only 1 in 7 actually engage the augmented reality in their mobile device. So that's a huge opportunity that's there and in people's hands. And I think we need to make sure we start to capitalize on that and use it the best way we can.
Well, thank you very much. It shocked me about the 10 years, that jump, actually, quite a big thing. Inna, would you like to give us your opinion about this?
Yes, absolutely. And I think I will be talking here representing the global community, because over the last year, I had the opportunity and the privilege to speak to educators from different parts of the world and understand how they adapted, and in terms of using digital technology, and in terms of school closure and overcoming the whole impact of COVID, and helping students really have more effective and efficient lessons. So it was quite interesting to hear that some of the schools were absolutely not prepared. They did not have any infrastructure to facilitate digital learning. So what happened was they still using the traditional methods of sending the homework to students in paper, and then the students had to complete that and send it back, even per post to the school or per email, which involved a lot of scanning, a lot of complexity for teachers who were heavily involved in helping students also during that time. And as we all know, many parents started to have 2 jobs, being a teacher and at the same time doing their job and trying to adjust to the remote work environment. So that was quite a big transformation. And apart from not having the digital infrastructure, including connectivity, including devices, it was also quite difficult for many schools to find solutions that were able to facilitate the digital lessons, but not just, let's say, facilitate in general digital lessons. We all know that many started using virtual rooms for video conferences, etc. But there was still a lack of software resources that were able to engage students in learning. That was probably the biggest aspect, because as the time went along, obviously students were getting bored and participating in Zooms, some were not attentive, etc. And this facilitation of immersive and engaging lessons through in the remote settings were quite difficult to attend, I think, for any educator. And at the same time, many educators have faced the issues of a personalized learning and the inclusivity of students with special needs, for example, or the students that need additional care and attendance from the teacher's perspective. So again, having the lack of infrastructure, having the lack of resources and the ability for teachers to attend to individual needs of students, I think that's where the biggest challenges laid. And it took some time to for schools, for educators to get them specific software that could partially solve those challenges, but still they're quite limited. So, but just in general, to see that we've grown so much in terms of the society and also in terms of digitalizing education and showcasing that the transition from traditional to digital was required a long time ago, and COVID really shown us how unready we were to do something like this very quick. But I think it was definitely a good opportunity to plant the seed, and now we know that it's a necessity, and we have to attend in every school and provide this infrastructure, connectivity, and also digital learning environments to be ready for any circumstances that would raise again, hopefully not. But also to still keep going and using that, let's say, immersive and innovative method of teaching.
Thank you so much. I just want to add to what you guys have said, like to all the educators and parents and people involved in the education of kids, like you guys are superheroes. This year mustn't have been really easy. So I'm just looking at some of the comments, and we have people who are from Tanzania, Spain, we've got Greece, we've got Pennsylvania. We're really excited to have everyone, and just in case, even Portugal and Georgia. So if you guys have any comments or any questions, just feel free to add them into the comments, and I will also ask Ina and Kevin. Okay, so moving on, now we can talk a little bit about the digital transformation of the education sector, and in particularly with augmented reality, which actually has seemed to gain quite a tremendous popularity in the K12 education, and how it can be able to, be a great teaching tool for educators to help engage with their students in a quite creative learning environment. So my next question for you guys is, due to this dramatic change and this sudden transition into digital learning, what is your opinion on the future and the potential of AR technology in K12 education? And how do you think AR might transform classrooms in the next 5 years or so? Maybe Ina would like to start off with this one first.
Yes, absolutely. I'm a big fan of augmented reality technology. I'm working with it every day, but I also have my own kids, and I always think that it would have been a great opportunity. They're teenagers now, but I think they've missed quite a lot in terms of having technology like AR to be able to engage and immerse and have a little bit of fun as well as they're learning through the application of digital technology. So, but looking at the trends, and we've done extensive research on the global scale, not just in Europe where we're based, but also in other countries. And we definitely see that augmented reality is foreseen to be one of the leading technologies to be integrated in the educational landscape in the next 5 years. And basically, there are a few aspects why many educators see that, or many schools also see the potential of bringing that specific technology on, is that it provides this immersive, engaging learning environments in a 3D aspect, fun, bringing subjects to life, but at the same time, it's quite easy to implement in the curriculum by enhancing the delivery of the curriculum just from a different perspective. It also has quite a significant application to, for example, work with students with special needs as a personalizing a tool for them to, let's say, help understand the content much quicker, and also for teachers to maybe spend less time in preparing lessons, because it's quite an easy to use technology. There's not much training needed, and basically you would need a device and a marker as an example if we're talking about marker-based solutions, and having the app downloaded, the child will know exactly what to do, and the teacher just needs to facilitate the whole lessons. But now if we actually speak on a broader scale, if before augmented reality was just so many educators knew the limitations of augmented reality technology, just to have the students explore pre-designed content. But now I think we've moved quite much further than just exploration. Now we have the opportunity to create, co-create and collaborate in the multi-user environments through the application of augmented reality. Really in that augmented reality environments, using either mobile devices or web-based interface as a simulation. So I definitely see a huge potential because it provides the educators an easy to use, simple tool that they can quickly understand how to apply that and bring that on board. But at the same time, for students, it's engaging, it's fun, and they really want to explore more. And as the statistic shows, and there's multiple research now has been done in terms of how augmented reality helps students at the K12 stage. And many talk about augmented reality technology facilitating this faster learning curve and also information retention rate, where students sometimes remember up to 100% what has been taught to them. And obviously, as a teacher, you have the opportunity to integrate augmented reality as a supplementary tool to the main curriculum that you're teaching, just as another activity, a little bit diversify your lessons and have the kids to have really engaging, collaborative and creative opportunities.
Okay, thank you very much. I see some questions are coming in. But Kevin, would you like to answer this question first?
Yeah, sure. I think, we talked, we'll say, 5 years ago in education, a very popular topic was flipped classrooms. Well, we just flipped all the classrooms and we had to do something different. But that topic started the idea of what can students learn on their own through watching a video or whatever it is, and what needs to be done in the classroom with the experts, the teachers. Mm-hmm. And augmenting reality, right? Great teachers have been augmenting education since they started teaching. They were always taking supplemental information from other places. And now all augmented reality is doing is making it possible for the teachers to have it in the device right there, ready to go and get it to the students. And there's a certain amount that can be delivered to the students outside the classroom. They can use the augmented reality to supplement what's coming through. We know the textbook publishers are pouring research into this and developing so that like every textbook, and in 5 years, I would be shocked if the new textbooks don't look pretty much like Harry Potter's newspaper. That's the way things are going. You're talking about a generation of children who were brought up with a third axis in their vision. We saw X and Y axis, and a regular spreadsheet. They see depth in that, and that zooming capacity, and they've been putting little Snapchat filters on everything since they were first got their mobile device. So that kind of new thing it's new to us. It's not new to the students. So I think the adoption will be very, very fast.
I would have to agree. If anyone could do it, it's the kids of nowadays.
Yeah,
definitely more handy with technology than we are. So I see we have a question, but that it's about the augmented classroom, which I think maybe we can cover a bit later on. We have some questions about the augmented classroom and the introduction of that. So we will definitely come back to that question there. No worries. So we have other people joining in. We also have from India as well. Thanks, everyone. Again, share your comments and questions here. I have them loaded up. Don't worry, I will not forget them. Okay, so going on to the next topic. So obviously in a digital world, we have educators who have been as well and who are still under tremendous pressure and trying to equip their students and their kids with the skills necessary for the future, especially for like the workforce, because nowadays everything's changing and quite a lot of things are going digital. So one of the main challenges is also to try, in the current teaching, is to try and sustain students' engagement and motivation in what they're learning. So my next question is, how do you think AR can help teachers enhance their curriculums and transform their in-class and online learning for students to overcome this maybe lack of engagement and to try and provide the group with a more inclusive and personalized learning environment? Kevin, would you like to start off with this answer?
Yeah, I think that all forms of technology are moving towards helping us direct the content that the student needs to receive right to that student. And we see it in many different ways, and it will help us personalize the growth for that student. And augmented reality will allow them to explore new things that they didn't consider, and that maybe in an area that interests them, that the teacher didn't know that this particular student was interested in that. And I think that there's so much potential there. When you look at, like, shout out to CleverBooks. Like my favorite one is when the rocket takes off, and it can develop so many conversations with kids. It's like, wow, have you thought about what it takes to lift a rocket into the air? And maybe that doesn't come up for every kid, but maybe it does. And other kids may be more interested in the colors on the rocket, or how to design a rocket. And then you can build into another conversation where you're taking, we do it here, where I think it's around 6th or 7th grade, where they take a soda bottle and they fill it with they design it with fins, and they turn that into a rocket with a little bit of water and a pump. So you got the conversation started with something in augmented reality, and then you put it into something that they're making. And I think that the kids are very interested in creating. And when they start creating things, then they really connect to the material. And the teacher can just guide them. We talk to, we used to talk about teachers as the sage on the stage. Now we see them more as a curator of educational content. Like a curator in a museum puts together an exhibit of different paintings or sculptures. The teacher in the classroom, whether it's 3rd grade or in calculus, they have to put together the content that they think is going to move that student forward.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think that's quite a good point you've raised there, actually. Inna, would you like to join in on this?
Absolutely. I have mentioned multiple aspects answering previous questions, so I was a little bit ahead, I would say. But a few things to add up from what we see happening in the classroom is sometimes the level of engagement depends also on the content that you're providing and you're able to access. Covering specific topics. So, for example, if we talk about pyramids of Giza or learning about Africa, how elephants live, etc. So it's not all the time that you can bring an elephant to the classroom, and students are forced maybe to watch the videos, to maybe read about it, look at the pictures. So again, the level of engagement of students here is very different, because it's just the pictures, just the video. But when actually an elephant pops out from your mobile device in 3D, and you can see, interact, feed it, and learn a little bit more what sound it makes. It's a very different aspect of pedagogy, I believe, and also a very different learning curve. But that's if we talk about the exploration part. But if we take, for example, the creativity, obviously in this case, students are able to actually have the hold the ownership of the projects that they've created. But again, because it's immersive, because it's engaging, it looks like they're building in reality, because they see the three-dimensional aspects of every part of what they're building. If they're building a city, a megapolis, or let's say a scene somewhere in the woods or in the Wild West, so it's more likely that they will be reliving these scenes and the aspects what they've created, again, bring to the points that they will remember that. And as the memory is, let's say, much stronger, and the content, the retention rate is also increasing, then of course the students will be performing better at the exams, because they had a more in-depth exploration of the content, etc. And coming back to the topic of helping students really develop the necessary skills necessary for the future workforce, I think augmented reality really facilitates, beyond the engagement, the opportunity for students to explore and develop these critical thinking skills, creativity, problem solving, as well as meta skills. So I think the whole package of the technology itself and the capabilities that it could have in terms of potential is very large.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, guys. I think you guys have raised quite a lot of really good points on this part here. I wish I had this sort of technology when I was learning, because a lot of students, they learn different ways. There are people who are more visual, who are more for audio. So there are so many different ways, and I think this kind of technology can just allow them for them to explore what they would like to choose in that sense. So I think these are quite good points. I like that. Thank you very much. Okay, so now I'm going to talk a little bit about augmented reality technology and how it's been increasing as an application, and in order to enhance certain curriculums at school, and how the application of AR in education has also extended beyond, the exploration and the creation of this content. It gives the opportunity for us to, create a quite unique and collaborative experience, so students can participate and collaborate in a multi-user kind of interface with curriculum-aligned subjects with 3D content as well. And what we would like to bring our discussion to is the new digital space called the Augmented Classroom, which CleverBooks has recently launched. So Inna, I would like to start with you, if you could give us a few words about the Augmented Classroom, and then we can go on from there.
Absolutely, absolutely. So in a nutshell, Augmented Classroom is a digital infrastructure that provides the educators the opportunity to facilitate engaging immersive lessons through the application and interaction within the augmented reality environments. It includes the exploration, creation, and the collaboration in the multiplayer interface, where students can join in from any device, mobile or web-based interface, and but the teacher is still the facilitator in terms of letting them know which content they should focus on. I actually have prepared a 3-minute video. If you would bear with us, I will show it to you so you have a better understanding what the ecosystem is, and then it would be great to also hear your comments or your questions if you have. So let me just share my screen, and we should have the sound, etc. So it's 3 minutes.
I think there's a bit of difficulty with the sound of the video.
Oh.
I have a comment where they're saying no sound.
Interesting. Hmm. I'm not sure if what the issue with the sound is. But what we can do, we can send the link to people so they can view this video. That probably would be the best aspect.
Okay.
So, and maybe I just can give you a few points in terms of, so bringing the visual aspect to this of this video, so you better understand that the teacher has a full control of teaching and facilitating the lessons, as well as the real-time analytics, looking at what has been performed. And it also has the integration to any LMS systems around the world, again, to bring that one unified ecosystem. And it's a cloud-based solution that is adaptable to any devices and also scalable for use in classroom and also remote learning. And it's a reusable solution where we also provide the lesson templates that teachers can use either in the remote or in-class learning environment. And as an example, we see that as a whole digital ecosystem that addresses the challenges of current in-class as well as remote learning environment and opportunities to use that digital environment. And the Augmented Classroom is mainly focused to enhance the teaching practices and pedagogy. So, but for more information, we can definitely send the link to, and hopefully that would help you better understand what it is.
I think maybe it might be the headphones. If you had
right,
then it could have been, yes, a comment actually kind of suggested
right, yes, absolutely.
The headphones sometimes. See, bear with us, guys, the technology. No, okay, but I'm sure if even for extra information, you can also head over to the CleverBooks LinkedIn page or Twitter page. They've got posts and all the video links as well there. Okay. There is actually one question quickly about the Augmented Classroom. I saw it before. So someone's asking that they would like to ask about the Augmented Classroom app for students and how to use it with students for creating like a city and how to put them in one group, if that's possible.
Absolutely. We do have a full demo of how that could be done. And I think it's more a topic of personal discussion rather than trying for me to explain that now. So what I will do, I will put in the chat a couple of links so you can have a look and see how that how other educators are working with it, and a little manual as well. But if you still have questions, you're very welcome to write to our email, and we'll be glad to support you and help you with all that.
Okay, perfect. I think the same person also mentioned that they participated in the CleverBooks plan and they won 3rd place as a bronze medal. So that's really cool that everyone's using this technology. And actually,
yes, I remember we had that digital challenge last year, and it was a great success and was very interesting because the educators were able to really go through the whole aspect of learning about what augmented reality is, how they can apply that, and as a result they were creating their own activity plans. And yes, I know that I was one of the participants in discussion, in active discussion, and was one of the winners of the challenge. So yes, it was great.
That's perfect. That's good to hear. Keep it up, guys. And actually, going on to my next question about the Augmented Classroom, Kevin, it would be really great to hear your feedback about this new digital infrastructure and how it's added on value and being able to equip educators with a kind of ready-to-use solution for remote and in-class use, and how the learners can benefit from this new interface.
Yeah, I think you really hit it there when you said in class and remote. There's so much potential when you can engage the kids, because we don't know what's next. I think it was 5 years ago, our school was closed for 2 weeks because a hurricane hit the east coast of the United States. So New York City has already announced they will not be closing for snow days going forward because they now have the plan. The plan is everybody stay home. We're just transition over into the remote classroom. And, it's not maybe the same. And, there is definitely a difference between remote and in person. At my school, we will be running both next year, but not simultaneously. This year, we've been running it live and remote live and in-person live at the same time. That kind of takes the teacher's brain and splits it in half and makes them do two things at the same time. And that's not the greatest way to do it. If the school can do it, they do a remote class and do an in-person class. I think that's probably the best way to go. But with something like Augmented Classroom, it takes it to the next level. So you're not just sitting there receiving content as a student. They're able to create it. Kids like getting their hands dirty with things, whether it's playing in the sandbox or, walking around and picking up sticks. And, and my son, when he's a senior in high school and going to graduate soon. But every time we went to walk when he was a young kid, he always had a stick in his hand, and we'd have a pile of them at the front door when we walked back. And so kids like to touch things and work with things and create things and create their own personalized content. This is a great place for kids to start doing that in augmented reality. And they can, then take this project and show it to whomever, right? You can allow, the parents can see this, they can show it. The parents don't have to come to the school to see this. They can see it from the kid's mobile device, at home, whatever, there's so much potential when we allow kids to start creating and working with their teacher to build something new, like this augmented classroom. It's just going to get better and better. I'm thinking back to, and I owe, a huge shout out to CleverBooks put together those conversations with the international schools back in the beginning of COVID. And I learned so much about what was happening from, or globally from what was, in those conversations. And now we've settled into this new normal. And where is it going to go? And it's these large international conversations that are going to allow us to connect and move everything forward. It's just amazing.
Yeah. Absolutely. And do collaborative projects, not just within class, but also internationally. We have some schools who are doing collaborative projects, from schools on different sides of the globe, and just bring the students together and collaborating in the multi-play environment, and also learning from each other, from the cultural aspect, from the linguistic aspect, and also to see what kind of similarities are available in terms of teaching specific subjects. So it's a very interesting aspect.
I definitely agree with those points. And I think what you guys have said is really important. And the fact that they can learn about other people from other parts of the world, the culture, because kids, they're exploring everything. They're assimilating everything. And you said, they like to get their hands dirty. I've been an educator for 2 years. I know they like to just mess around and stuff. But I think it's quite important because they learn from being, kids, and especially with a lot of the bad things that are happening nowadays in the world, even other than the pandemic and stuff. I think it's important that we do teach kids that, you can play with this person, you can learn about this person. We're all the same at the end, different, but all the same at the end. So I think that's definitely a point that's really important for kids anyway.
And we have very different ways the way we acquire information. And I think the combination of seeing, hearing, and touching the knowledge, as you said, getting the hands on and using all the visual and audio skills that we have is a great opportunity for students to acquire knowledge.
Definitely.
Yeah, and there's research to show that kids learn faster this way. They acquire, if they're just sitting there consuming information, and it's not just kids, it's adults too. When they get down into these virtual environments where they're connected, the content retention is higher, but also it takes them about a quarter of the time to acquire the knowledge. It's just, why wouldn't we do it this way? We can give them more interesting things. We have more opportunities if we allow them to learn this way.
I completely agree. Yes, that's a good point too. No, definitely. Well, so my next question is actually for everyone joining in live actually now. So we want to know if you've been able to benefit from such technology in your schools, in your classroom, or even like remotely if you do anything online. And if you want to share any experiences with us, also ask any other questions too. And you can write them down in the comment section. I think some people have, okay, there we go. We have another question. Is there another champion? Because our students ask many times, they ask about it many times. If there's another champion?
I think I know what Amr is referring to, if there's any upcoming challenge, because at Tech for Future and CleverBooks, we're arranging one last year. And we are discussing this at this stage, and we'll let you know if we'll put something together. But it's definitely would be focused on augmented reality.
Okay, perfect. And there's actually a suggestion about making webinars for the educators and students on how to use the CleverBook apps for the education. And that would be quite interesting too.
Absolutely, we could definitely do that. As I said, we try to already prepare all the pre-recorded demos, guide manuals, etc. But if there's anything else that you're looking for, please do write to us, and we'll be glad to provide you as much information as possible, or do the individual sessions to guide you through, or provide a webinar or something like that. And if you can also join our community on the Discord. And so once you're registered for Augmented Classroom, you will have a direct link to the community, and that's where you can collaborate with other educators from different parts of the world. And we strongly suggest to join in, because then you can ask another teacher, maybe in your own country, maybe in a different country, and ask them, how do you use augmented reality? You know, what do you like? What you don't like? How did you do that? And so that would be my one suggestion for you to collaborate and really exchange experience. And the second announcement that I wanted to make today as well is coming back to this challenge that Amr just asked. We're initiating the activity plan competition. The announcement for all the people, for all our subscribers, is going off today, and you should receive the information. So if you already part of CleverBooks subscription, you're very welcome. Just watch out for the email. But if you don't, then you're very welcome to subscribe to Augmented Classroom or CleverBooks on our main page, and that's how you can receive the information about the activity plan competition. So they're quite nice prizes as well. And we'll publish all activity plans in the open source library that we maintain. So who knows, maybe your activity plan will be used by the educator on the other side of the world.
That's perfect. See, we're more connected than ever. We're more
right. And I see that there is a link also from for the community now in the chat that you can join on Discord. And we'll also put the information about the activity plans under this video, so you would be able to read through and join the community.
Okay, perfect. And if there are any other questions or any other comments, please write them down. Kevin, would you like to add anything on, or ask a question yourself, or anything for the public as well, or for us?
Yeah, I would just like to say that sometimes teachers think, well, you know, this may not be something that lasts. This is just, you know, a fad that's going to pass. And, you know, this is not a fad that is going to pass. This is going to be here. It's going to change everything. And we need to really embrace it. And from a buy-in, you already have most of the students who could walk in the classroom with a mobile device. So, you know, the administration doesn't have to invest in huge numbers of dollars, or, you know, whatever currency, in purchasing equipment if this equipment is in the hands of the students already. And, I think that's, people don't understand how much of an opportunity this can be if they embrace it and start adding to their classroom and augmenting their classroom with this. It's just, there is, Microsoft got a contract for $22 billion a couple of weeks ago in this type of technology. And Apple is about to release glasses next year. They're not slowing down. This is going to move forward, and we just need to. And our problem, we have a committee we're starting this summer to try and predict what our problems will be going forward. There are already West Coast US companies making prescription glasses that will be ready for augmented reality. So if you don't think that it's going to be in your classroom, the student will be wearing glasses that you can't tell them to take off because it's their prescription too. It'd be like telling them, you can't be in this classroom. And we know that we have, these Airbud things. Soon they will be translating conversations. So all of us could be speaking in a different language and hear our own. Mm-hmm. And when you have that augmented audio possible, that will change everything, the way that calculators changed mathematics, many, many years ago. Mm-hmm. I was the last class in my high school to have to learn how to use a slide rule. And it is a big change that when technology comes through. Calculators didn't go away. Augmented reality is not going to go away.
Yes, I would totally agree here, and it's not just us talking here, but if you look at multiple research and the projections that the whole kind of educational market segment is foreseen, is definitely for augmented reality to stay because of its benefits, because of the simplicity, but also because it's accessible on any hardware. And as you have been shown today, it no longer just need to have mobile devices to access and have the real augmented reality experience, but you can also facilitate simulation of augmented reality experience through the web-based interface, which is accessible from Chromebooks, PCs, and any other laptops. So I think it's a great way in terms, and also, as you said, how the whole technological landscape is evolves and where it's going to, and soon augmented reality, artificial intelligence, and other technologies that will definitely take the place in the education landscape. But I also wanted to mention that because I know many schools are struggling in terms of having funds and budgets for hardware and software application, I know that in the States, Kevin, please correct me if I'm wrong, recently the government has announced the rescue plan, and the funds have been devoted. Is it over 120 million, if I'm not mistaken, or
billion?
Billion. Yes. So again, that's a great opportunity for all those people who are listening us from the States to actually utilize grants like that and have the opportunity to bring innovative software on board. But also in our Discord channel, we do have try to get the grants from in different countries. So you can have a look depending on your geographical location and see how you can utilize those grants as well.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for the extra information. I think we have another question, and we would like to know if there is an app for students for them to create using CleverBook apps, but just for students themselves.
Right. So the app, Create app, is available for Augmented Classroom. It's linked for the Augmented Classroom. And if you reach out, you can also, will get you directly information, or it's available also within the interface in the dashboard.
Okay, perfect.
And it has LTI, so it integrates into somebody, like a school that does have a learning management system. Then the LTI, so you're not looking at multiple logins, or it's embedded right there in your LMS, which some schools have and some don't, but that is a huge advantage.
Right.
Perfect. I must say I've used the CleverBooks apps myself, and I found it quite fun too. I was like, I wish I had this when I was younger. So even adults can still have fun with this. But I would agree with you guys, and I think that was quite an important point to say. You know, it's not really going away, and I think this is how things are moving now. It's maybe arriving a lot quicker than we thought it would, but we've got to jump on that train and just go with it as well. So I think maybe it can be scary, but again, like for educators, there is the Discord community for you guys. So just jump in there and help each other out and connect. I think that's the way we can go. I think we have some more. Here we have a special thank you to CleverBooks because our students has made a book using the app. So they're really thanking us a lot for that. So if you guys have any other questions or any other comments, please write them down now. So just to conclude the whole topic, we can see that augmented reality has become a new normal of how we can help educate kids and how we can help engage them in learning and helping them stay a little bit more motivated and increase their retention rate. Because as we said before, you know, kids love to explore, they like to get their hands dirty and get in there. And they're also giving educators the opportunity to teach in a more creative and effective way, helping them out, I guess, essentially with their lesson plans too. And I would really like to thank Kevin and Ina for all their experience that they've shared with us, all the information as well. As I mentioned before, you can also contact them via LinkedIn if you have any other concerns or questions or anything that you want to maybe share with them as well. We can give it maybe like a minute or two if anyone else has any other questions or comments, maybe about your own experience with augmented reality or with CleverBooks or the Augmented Classroom as well. We'll leave it in the we'll wait for the comments.
I would just like to say I think sometimes when technology comes in, teachers are afraid they're going to be replaced. And it's worth noting that in the 2,000 years or more that we've had schools, the one thing that they've had in common is teachers. And this isn't going to replace teachers. It's just going to augment teachers. It's going to make us better at doing what we do. And I think that's the important part. We have they're estimating that 45 to 50% of all the teachers in the United States could retire in the next 5 years. If, you know, we're going to be augmenting every classroom in the United States with new teachers. So like this is all going to start moving forward, and we will, I think, you know, historically, teachers are important. And this is just going to help them do it better.
Absolutely. It's just a tool that can help teachers do their job better.
Definitely. It gives them that extra superhero tool to make the lessons really fun. But I think what you said there is really important, that maybe some people feel scared about like this new technology and stuff. Would you have maybe like any advice in them, Kevin, about just, you know, maybe for new teachers coming into that with the technology? Any advice?
I would go to the video that Ina shared and look at that, because I will guarantee you in that video, just looking at it, there's no coding, right? There's no coding that you have to do to create this. There's a code that you get to give to your students, but that's the only code involved. And that's so important because we have already evolved past the part where you had to be the coder. Right? Whether you were developing a website or, you know, I could tell you, like, I literally in college had a map of the entire internet because you had to know how to send, you know, along these different paths to get an email sent. There's so much technology you don't have to do right now. It's all being done to facilitate it so that you can just be great at what you do. You don't have to know how to do the background stuff anymore. It's important that we train people to learn, you know, to develop more, but the teachers don't have to be scared. But I don't know how to do that. You just got to do what you already do. You do it in a new environment.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Yes. And would you have any advice or anything to add to that?
I think Kevin said it all.
Covered it all. Okay. Any other comments, guys, or any other questions you might want to ask feel free. I think we have some other people joining in from Morocco. We even have Mexico, Ukraine. Everyone's from, see, we're connected from all over the world in real time as well.
Absolutely. The recording will be available via this link and for you to come back to. So feel free to share it also with your network if you feel that someone would benefit from it.
And you can always go back to the CleverBooks LinkedIn page or Twitter page if you want any more information. Just engage with the post, ask questions, ask, and don't be scared.
Right, don't be scared.
Okay. All right, then. Well, I want to thank Ina and Kevin again. Thank you so much for sharing your experience, all the advice. And I'll just say bye to everyone. Stay safe and have a nice week. The rest of the week, I guess.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, everyone.